I'm sure it's blank on here, but maybe it's just me then.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Yes, guys, welcome to the most messy show on Cardiff City World. Nate is Podcast Nation. This is your Flower Hour. No, it is not Matthew Angel with a hair transplant and a facelift. It is Pan I'm joined with this evening. How the devil are you, mate?
Yeah, very good, Rob. Not too bad at all, mate. Yeah, I just got my tickets now for Stoke on Saturday, so I'm hoping we don't have a game like we did against Leeds.
Yeah, we won't talk too much about that particular game, mate. The last we speak about that, the better. Exactly. Do you know what, though? Side thought, I do think that might have been a bit too early to have played that particular intro at 6:30, but there we go. But there we are. Unlucky, innit? So slight change of plans this evening. So what we thought we would do, nice to have a catch up with Pan. He hasn't showed his lovely face for a little while, so we'll talk about how he thinks the last few games have gone. We'll talk about the window, the ins and the outs, etc. And then, as he's touched upon as well, obviously Stoke on the weekend, so get a little prediction and thoughts on teams, etc. along the way. Before we dive into it, as you'll see going across the banner, there's going to be obviously notes of the as become an Ace Podcast Nation member. Sorry for cutting my teeth together at the moment. How to become a member for the price of coffee a month. You get early access to shows, things like that. And I know one show in particular, which is turned to be very popular on the Patreon, is the watch along with ex-pros. I know Si's got one coming up this Thursday. 6:30, I think, is with Andy Campbell. I'm not too sure of the game, if it's the game or if it's another game he's watching. So be sure to take a look at that. There's obviously a QR code at the top of your screen as well. So we dive straight in there, mate. Transfer window. What's your thoughts on the incomings? Do you think that's an issue at all?
Everyone gets excited, don't they? And thinking, we're going to, get certain players in. But it's a difficult window, I think, January, Rob. And, obviously, I know we mentioned the Leeds game, but before that, we've done pretty well, haven't we? I mean, like I said, 8 games, is it? Unbeaten. Is it 4 wins, 4 draws, some of that? So, I think Rhys has turned it around under difficult personal circumstances, losing his dad as well. I think the fans have really got behind him, beating the Jacks convincingly. And so I think going into this window, I wasn't necessarily thinking we need massive amount of players. I was, with Salic coming in, which is, obviously his early days for him. But yeah, I think the guy from Ajax, obviously they signed him for 5 million, so he can't be rubbish. I mean, you'd hope he's not. He's going to have some sort of ability. Ajax don't sign players unless they're technically good. So he will probably play against, because I mentioned the Stoke game this Saturday in the FA Cup, he'll probably play possibly with Chambers maybe. And Alves is the other guy, Portuguese heritage, I think, in it, and he's at Leicester, only 19, and not sure if he's a right winger, left winger. Not sure, Rob. But anyway, he's a winger, and he'll give us a bit more speed up front. And again, it's like anything. You don't know anything about these players until they play, innit? And you say, oh, he's come from Leicester, he's come from Ajax. Until 100%. You see these guys play 2 or 3 games, you can't really make an opinion on it, can you? But I think on the basis of what we had prior to the Leeds game, and these couple of additions, I personally am confident, for the remainder of the season. I know we're not far off the relegation area, but I still believe that with the run we were on, and a little blip with Leeds, but anyone can lose to Leeds. They're going to get promoted. They're probably going to win the league. So overall, Rob, I was really optimistic. So I don't know whether you thought as well that, before the signings, we looked pretty okay.
Yeah, 100% agree, mate. Obviously, you touched upon, we were on a great run of form prior to the Leeds game, and I think we can all agree, and I think we touched upon in previous shows that Leeds game was a free hit at the end of the day, and unfortunately that free hit turned into being hit for 7. So it's one of those things. I think my thoughts were that I didn't want to. If we were going to lose that game, I didn't want it to be an embarrassment as such, and obviously turned out to be. I don't know whether it's maybe a blessing in disguise now that the next game is not a league game, a cup game. You can see it both ways, can't you? You could see that, all right, it's a breakaway from the league and can forget about that league game for now and concentrate on the Stoke game. Or you can look at it the other way and the team and the boys would want to get it right on the next chance they get in the league. So you can look at it 2 different ways. In terms of the signings myself, I'm happy with it. I think it's quite expected what we brought in. I would have liked to have seen a left back come in personally. Yeah. That would have been on my shopping list. Don't know who. But to be honest, I would have liked to have seen a left back being brought in from somewhere. But
I think just on what you were saying there, Rob. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. I was going to say there's a lad at Chelsea called Harry Vale. Only know his name, don't know anything about him. But again, he was a left wing back kind of thing, and I think he's gone to QPR. So I think I think we were in for him, and again, it's just what It could be the preference of the player wants to stay in London. But I'm the same as you. I think we could have done with a bit more competition in that left back role, really, because O'Dowda does a fantastic job. But I think Bagan sort of covers full back and centre half, doesn't he? So I look at him as useful in the squad, Bagan. And he hasn't let us down, to be honest with you, Rob, when he's played left back. But that was the only one I would said. Well, I think they probably did try, but it's not the end of the world kind of thing. I don't think, is it? It's not as if we were desperate for a left back kind of thing. So overall, it's encouraging. And like I said, and again with the Stoke game, is what you were saying is that a lot of the sort of fringe players will probably play against Stoke. I mean, I'm old school. I mean, the FA Cup for me was the be on and all. When I was growing up, it was a big game on the telly. When I was 9, 10, right. Grandstand, whatever, it's the whole thing. Yeah, and right. Obviously that's changed over the years. But for me, it's the romance of. I mean, I went to the FA Cup final. The whole experience was amazing. So I just always think, why do we play our best team? But I think I might be wrong because I haven't done my research much before I got on tonight. But I don't know if we got Pompey away a few days later after the Stoke game. And I think, knowing Rhys, again, I don't get it. Players in the old days who play 60, 70 games, but I think it's got faster and more athletic now. So I think managers like to rest players, don't they, after a few days? So it wouldn't surprise me if the new signings play, Salic up front, Alves maybe come off the bench, and Mansworth, I'd imagine, will play, and maybe a few of the other lads. I don't know if Conte's back from his loan, because I liked him, when he played for us.
Well, he played, speaking about Conte, unless things happened since, he played for the 21s on Saturday.
Okay.
And done very, very well, by the way. So he's definitely back, which is a massive positive for me. And I thought he did really, really well. And I suppose, you could potentially, talk about the under-21s, do you give Giles a go at left back? In the FA Cup, just to see what he's made of. Just get him in amongst that senior team. And I hate using the phrase free, especially when it comes to the FA Cup, because I feel like it's degrading. But it's a chance maybe for him to get some senior football, albeit in the FA Cup world. But might be a good opportunity to give him a go at left back. I think it's a balance, isn't it? It's a balance in it, Rob, between, you want to win the game, but you want to give some of the fringe players a go. And Louis Giles been on the bench a few times. But I'm, like I said, I'm old school and thinking, it'd be nice to have some first team players. I think we will have some first team players, won't we? Maybe Gutas. But I just, I think Stoke away is winnable without question. It's not as if we're playing like, Liverpool away or something, is it? It's in the Championship, other than the top 2 or 3, I think everyone can beat everyone really in this league. So it's trying to get the balance right. But I'm probably only saying this because I'm going up to Stoke on the coach. I'm already praying it's not going to be like a major score against us. But no, I think that we'll take about 1,500 there, 2,000. You never know, probably 1,500. Stoke have only opened half their stadium, so I can't imagine there'll be more than 12, 14,000. But if there's 1,500 City fans in full voice, that could help the team. So I would like to see some of the fringe players in there. Robertson, have we got competition? I don't say competition wrong, because Robertson is a first team player and should always. But is this? I don't know who else we've got at the moment, because Turnbull's out till the end of the month, isn't he, or March time? I think he's out until that period of time. He won't be coming back. And sort of, I'm trying to think, Colwell has gone off the boil the last few weeks, Rob. I don't know what your view is about that. He just seems, something's gone on, and he seems to be very much on the fringes now. When he had those opportunities and he had a couple of good games, he seems to have gone off the boil. Yeah, Colwell's an interesting one, mate, because he looked to me like he was a favourite of Rhys's when he first took over. I think, he was invested in the team, and, he was there when we were doing very well. But for whatever reason, he just seems to have dipped out to that first team again, whether it's, that could be largely down to how well Robertson's done as well, by the way, where he's thought that Ruben just doesn't see him as better than Robertson at the minute, which is fair. Robertson has been on form, although I think he's still struggling a bit from his illness. Since he's been ill, Robertson, I don't think he's been quite the same for the last couple of games. But, like I said, I think that could be because of whatever illness he's had, and we've all been ill, and we know how much it can take it out of you, So I'll give him a benefit of the doubt on that, and I think it's because of that personally. Apart from that, mate, you could put Willock there. Again, I don't think he really seems to fancy Willock that much, although he has done in recent games, I suppose. But maybe Willock could play that position. El Ghazi potentially. Although I'd see El Ghazi more as a winger. I know he has played.
I don't think we got a natural 8 in the squad, because Colwell is a 10 really, and then like you said, El Ghazi's on the wing. He can play up front. So that's the thing. I think I was quite curious with like the signings we made. I was thinking, okay, Turnbull's out. He's going to be probably back in 3 or 4 weeks. But if Robertson has an injury, how does that change things for us in terms of, our formation and who would play that kind of position? Because, I do think we lack a bit of cover there because Robertson's a young lad. He's played a lot of games for us, and it's just that little bit of a fear. If he's out, who comes in? But yeah, Colwell for me is like, I just don't know. I think a lot of City fans were with him because obviously he's local lad. We want him to do well, and he's definitely got all the skills in the world. I think that's without question. He can beat two players, in a phone box really. But as I said, about when you're looking at assists, when you're looking at goals, when you're looking at he's 6'2", and he should be getting on the end of headers. He had that header. I can't remember where it was. I don't even know if it was at Sheffield United in the FA Cup, or one of the games, and it was a clear cut header from 8 yards, and he just he should have got it on target. Do you know what I mean? And it's kind of like, oh, not another one. And I think it's for him, Rob. It's learning how to keep a shot down. The amount of times he's created something in around the box and then he's skied it. It's that technique, isn't it? About leaning back and just shooting it over the top. And it's happened quite a lot. So I think, 22 now, 23, 24, he's got a lot still to improve on. And he is the type of lad who wants to improve. And I just hope, sometimes you think, do these guys need to move elsewhere? I'm not saying that, we should have sold him now, and again, it's who's going to buy him if we want a lot of money for him. But I do worry a little bit about Ruben Colwell come the summer. I know it's early days, come the summer, that if Rhys stays and Tan obviously stays in terms of, building what we have been sort of on and off kind of thing. It has been up and down, but, there are some encouraging signs as well as some of the negativity. Will Colwell be further down the pecking order, and is that where he could end up in the summer, moving on?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, and Martin brings up a good point. Yeah, a couple of good points. Welcome, mate, by the way. He's not even been selected. He's been selected and not even brought off the bench as well. So I don't know. It does make you wonder if, again, I don't want to start rumours and things like that, but is there more to it? And yeah, I agree, mate. On his day, he's one of the most creative players, I think, personally, when he's on it in the league. Not just at Cardiff, when he's fully at it, there isn't that many there isn't that many more of creativity sense than Ruben, I think, on his day. Yeah. Just want to dive into a couple of comments. Again, with Martin, I'll work my way up. Fortunately, these results showed how brittle we are. Many of the experienced players are the most brittle. Where was the resilience? 100%. So, Derek, welcome, mate. I listened to the match against Leeds on the radio, which was B. I'm guessing he bleeped himself out on that one. Although he's filled it up here. I listened to the match on the radio against Leeds, which was bad, and I've had to listen to Kevin Radcliffe as well. And welcome, Paul, mate. I know Radcliffe is a bore.
Yeah. What I would say, Rob, is that I know obviously it was our biggest defeat in whatever years, 50, 70 years, but it's 3 points at the end of the day. We've had a bad day in the office. I've had a load of Jack people sort of, on my social media saying, with the 7-Up can and all this kind of thing. But I honestly think we're in a lot better position than the Jacks. If you look at the two squads, the players they've lost, and I know this should be just about us, but there's plenty of other teams in that bottom 6 or 8 who are in a lot of mess, a lot of difficulty. I don't see it with us. It was a bad day at the office. You're right. Guys are coming on saying, a lot of the players let us down in terms of, that many goals conceded. It's obviously everyone around the country will look at that result. Even all the neutrals, say, oh God, Cardiff City are that bad. That, even Leeds fans said, we were brilliant on the day. Everything went well for us. And we've had plenty of times where that could have happened against any other team. And when they played Burnley in the previous game, Burnley shut up shop. And they were second or third. So it's kind of like Leeds are a fantastic team. And yes, we shouldn't have lost 7-0, but I just want City fans to think, right, it's one game. That's 1 defeat in 9. And yes, we got to turn it around. Really, if we can get a result at Stoke, that'll lift the guys and get into the next round of the cup. That could bring a bit of excitement as well. And then you've got the Pompey game, which is a big game, isn't it? Because Portsmouth have had a few good results lately. They got a striker who's banging a few goals, but also we've got Robinson, who's one of the top goal scorers in the Championship. So I think there's still a lot to be positive about, Rob. I think we're still we should still be thinking positively about this team overall.
Yeah, I don't know what's the matter with me today. I do apologise, everyone. Yeah, I absolutely agree, mate. The thing is, we say this all the time, but like the next few fixtures are massive now. The next few fixtures we got, mate. We got obviously the FA Cup game on the weekend. So then it's where we got. So we got Portsmouth away, Bristol City home, Plymouth away, and then Hull home, and then Burnley home. So it's going to be mad. So I think the next few weeks, it's going to be huge. Come the start of March, we could be saying, all right, let's just see how high we can get. We're safe. Let's see how high we can finish. Maybe I'm getting carried away, but you think about it, mate. If we go and beat all of those teams, beat Pompey away, Bristol home, Plymouth away, Hull home, win all those games, mate, which are winnable games, and you'd like to think we can get a massive return on those points-wise, then that could be enough, mate, come the end of the season. That could be enough to see us through, I think, to be honest. Still there? Hello? Can't hear you, mate. While you're doing that, jumping into the comments while you get yourself sorted. So Jonathan says, I will bring yours, Martin, up as well in a second. Jonathan says, unfortunately, Colwell is our most inconsistent player. If he's put in more regular top performances, we would struggle to hold on to him, but he's just as likely to have a shocker. And I don't want to agree with that, but it does seem to be the case at times. Martin says, will the Jacks have lost 7-0 to Leeds? But I think on the day, I think anybody could lose 7-0 to Leeds in our league. I think, given it, obviously not the top 6, but I think on their day, anyone could potentially lose 7-0 to Leeds. I think anyone from the middle of the table down, they've got it in their locker just to tear you a new one, I think, personally. Jonathan then says what we got. So Jack's lost 4-0 to Portsmouth. So yeah, Leeds will be capable of putting 7 past them. Interesting. Jamie, 3-0 down. I just think stay fit for the next game. Got in their heads rather than fight it out. We have a season to play for. Yeah, it's very well said, Jamie, mate. Can you hear me, Pan? Can't hear you. Can anybody else hear Pan? Can anyone else say anything? Martin says, I think Colwell's a little persecuted by fans. If he had put up performance like some of the revered players against Leeds, he would have been slandered. Yeah, 100%. It is, and I do feel for him. Like, don't get me wrong, right? Myself, not Pan or whatever, like trying to single him out in any way, like, because, not just because he's one of our own. You touched upon it there. On his day, he's the most creative player in our team, maybe the league. Like, so it's just, I wish at times he's a bit more consistent, I think, is the issue. And whether the players around him got to help as well. It's not just him on his own, is it? At the end of the day, the others around him got to stand up and take notice and help the lad out. He's only one man at the end of the day. Hello? Speak.
Hello, can you hear me, Rob?
Yay!
hear me?
And it's live. Welcome
Yeah, I
back.
don't know what happened then.
It's all right, mate.
It's the Leeds
No
United
problem at all.
curse strap then.
No problem at all. Luckily, we got
Yeah.
quite a few comments, so that was ideal. Managed to get through a few of them, which is great. So thank you all for your comments, etc. What was I going to say? I tell you, one person I want to talk about actually is Simic.
Yes.
Now, I recall from his loan, I fully expect him to go back on loan. However, he's not. He's stayed, as far as I'm aware, unless somebody can tell me otherwise. Again, I watched the 21s on Saturday, and he took his goal very, very nicely. Great finish. Runs really strange. his run is really weird, but I don't care as long as he scores. But he looked good. He did look very, very good, I thought. I wonder how much, or if any, impact he'll have, or whether he'll just stay with the 21s for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think did we pay £3 million for him? Like, because obviously he went to, was he in Belgium in the sister club?
Yes.
And he didn't really get a look in. He didn't really get a look in there. Rob, he was on the bench a bit confused about that really. But yeah, I mean, you look at these kind of what I call Yugoslavian, which was the old Yugoslavia Croatian players, and they technically are very good. But if you're paying that kind of sum as well, which is I think similar to Salic, you'd expect him to be in and around the squad really. So, but I think looking at it, I can't see him. I may be wrong. He may be in the squad against Stoke, but I think I agree with you. I think he might end up staying in the under-21s. I mean, if you look at Ollie Tanner, I know it's a little bit different, but when Ollie Tanner signed, he came from non-league, which is maybe a little bit different. But again, young players, they take time to adjust to the physical demands of a different country, different league, and it took him a bit of time to physically sort of bulk up and get to the level fitness-wise that he needed to, and he had to do the dirty work, as we say, behind the scenes to get his opportunity. And now he looks, a physical specimen. So, again, with Simic, it may take this kind of summer before we might see him. But again, you just don't know when he go out on loan in the summer. It's an interesting one, because you sign these players and you think, oh, great, let's have a look at him. But for whatever reason, the people who are the coaches and whatever, they can see the player every day, and obviously they must have a good idea of what I think. It's like Reindorf, isn't it? Reindorf now has gone to Bristol Rovers, and I think the chief exec there lives in Cardiff. I actually know his wife, so I think there may have been a connection there in terms of him knowing Reindorf's form for the under-21s, and again with Reindorf, a lot of City fans rate him highly. He's a physical specimen for someone so young, and I hope his loan works out for him at Rovers. They're a good club, Bristol Rovers. Got a real loyal fan base.
Yeah, it's local as well.
You'll get well supported.
And it's very local, mate, isn't it? The lad probably doesn't need to move. Yeah. He's not far away from the club. So I think it is a very good move all around. As you said, it is a good club, Bristol Rovers, I think. First away game I ever went to some 25, 30 years ago, but that's a different story altogether. But yeah, it's I think that's a good move for him, mate. I do think that's a good move. It'll be a bit more physical from there, so you can get used to it. And some lovely comments here about agreeing with you with Simic as well. We'll be going, oh Christ, a few just piped in, I can't even see. Yeah, Martin said his finish was delightful. He was absolutely mint. I loved it. Zach, welcome, mate. He says, agree, though. I think Simic needs to get used to the physical side. And even though it's under 21s, it probably is still more physical than the leagues he's used to, and the speed of it is quicker than the leagues he's used to as well. And it's just that next step, I suppose, isn't it? It's that next step in his progression. You'd like to think we paid some money for him. Granted, it always doesn't work out. We've seen it over recent years. The signings just failed. But yeah, I'm confident and hopeful that something good will come of him. What was I going to say?
Yeah, we've had so many mistakes, Rob, haven't we, in the front line, strikers wise, over the years. You know, it's sort of got bad to worse, really. You know, in terms of all those failed striker signings, and you know, you just hope that Salic and Simic, you know, turn the corner for us in that regard, and we can see some progress. It's not an easy position, is it, to get quality? You know, everyone wants a striker. Everyone wants, like, you know, I mean, I remember, I think it was Millwall, who were a pretty well-run club, like, you know, a lot smaller than us, but they seem to be, they pick up a few really good players, and they signed Nisbet from, I think it was Hibernian in Scotland, and he scored a lot of goals up there. And I thought, oh yeah, you know, Scottish players, they do really well for Cardiff. We've had a lot of good Scottish players, but he went to Millwall, and I think it was 2.5 million, and he couldn't get a goal, you know, couldn't get a look in, and he's ended up going back to Scotland in Aberdeen, and he's on the bench, you know. So you've got a guy who's, you know, you look at someone scores loads of goals, okay, yeah, he's going to be, and then you bring him down, and there's a number of factors in it with a player. You know, he could be homesick, there could be all sorts of issues, out of his comfort zone and different environment. Maybe it is a step up, you know, championship, obviously a lot of people say to the SPL and a lot of ones, but you know, for every kind of, you know, everyone's in the same boat today. You know, you look at the Jacks down the road, they've signed 2 or 3 strikers and they've been rubbish, you know, and they're paying good money. They paid 2 million for a couple of strikers who are on loan. You know, I think they've gone one's at Derby, and that's the thing. I think, you know, for Cardiff, we're not the only club who we're competing, aren't we, to get quality up front. And you know, I think we've done well with Robertson. Robertson in midfield is a young, talented player. How do you feel about Darland? Because when I first saw Darland against the Jacks on his debut at Swansea, to me was class. You know, his ball, I think he's doing Cruyff turns, I think, and all sorts. But you know, I've noticed in a few games, you know, obviously being slow, lethargic kind of thing, and you know, again, 3.5 million quid. I'm not saying he is not any good, because obviously, you know, he formed a partnership with Gutas there, and obviously Fish, who's an ex-Man United defender, can't get a look in, you know, and I'm hoping Fish plays possibly on Saturday against Stoke. You know, I think he needs game time. But what's your view of Darland?
Do you know what? You must have read my mind. You've given me the perfect little segue you have, you beauty pan. So there's a few comments about Darland in the chat. And ironically, when I first seen him, maybe it's because of the looks a bit as well, but he gave me off that Glenn Loovens vibe. The style, the calmness on the ball, the look, every little thing about him. Sorry, my phone was going off then. Everything about him just gave me off that, you know, prime Cardiff, Glenn Loovens vibes, and just a little cheeky little put along this. Don't forget, guys, to get your tickets for Glenn Loovens, 25th of April, £10 for your normal ones, or you can pay an extra 20 quid for, I think it's like meeting. It's a bit of a higher level one, but yeah, for at least a tenner, you guys can meet Glenn Loovens. Highly recommend it. Si's done a fantastic job of these shows in the past. Obviously, had Andy Campbell, Darren Pearce, Craig Bellamy. It's cheap as chips, guys. Like I was talking about on a show. I can't remember what show. It feels like I've been doing it one every day for the last 10 weeks now. But you know, you can do these gentlemen's evenings and stuff in other places, and they'll charge you 40 quid. Yes, you'll get some warmed up potato salad and some crap, but it's just quality in Splott Cons. Highly recommend it. And they've got a wheel in there now, which has pasties and sausage rolls rolling around. So I'm hoping I've messaged the owner. I've messaged him to see if that's going to be working, because I love me some pasty. But anyway, I digress. Yes, there's been a few comments. That was like a hell of a segue. Okay, good.
I was thinking about that.
I know. I started talking about Greg's, and I know other bakeries are available. No, no. You say about Darland. There's been a few comments literally about it before we started talking about it. I will come to yours in a sec, Paul, but what you mentioned. Where did it go? Zakia says Darland needs to be dropped for Fish, in my opinion. He follows it up with positioning is awful. Paul also mentions that where's he gone? Agree, Fish needs to come in. And Jamie then says Darland and Fish, great combo. So then aside to where, and then there's mentions there that I've lost an out, Paul. Sorry, mate. Oh yeah, Gutas leaving in the summer, and I think Fish will take his place. So it's an interesting debate on this one, because there's been a bit of a variety of people saying there that they would go keep it as it is, go Fish and Darland, or Fish and Gutas, or keep it as it is. Like, so what would you do?
Well, I think we've seen Gutas play, was it on the left side, and he was found out badly. I might be wrong in saying which side he was, but I think it's the left. And, once he's adjusted, he's, let's be honest, last season, Rob, he played nearly every league game. And he was our main go-to for corners. And he scored 6 goals last season, and his heading, as was against the Jacks himself, he hasn't got as many goals this year. But remember last year, we had other people taking the corners. I think it was Wintle, not advocating Wintle to come back, but obviously Robertson's taken time to get his crossing right, as he did against the Jacks. And if you look at Robertson's set piece game, it's not as good as it could be, and that will develop in time, I'm sure. But that's another reason why Gutas, I don't think, has got on at the end of as many as he should. But I think Gutas has to be, in my view, number one central defender. And as some of the comments have made, let's have a look at Fish. He looks a physical specimen. He did very well again in Scotland, at Hibs. And, let's see him. I think he will play against Stoke. I'd be surprised if he doesn't play with Gutas. And I think it's a great opportunity to have a good look at him. As I said, he's a big lump. Don't think he scored many goals when he was at Hibs, from set pieces. But, let's have a look at him. No one's really had a chance of late, Rob, to get a real view. And I agree with some of the comments about Darland's positioning. For someone who technically has got great ability, sometimes, some of these strikers make him look, bang average, but I think for me, Fish should get, and you just don't know. Like I said, for some players in these cup matches, if Fish has a really good game, then he's really saying to Rhys, you can't drop me, so 100%. It's great, isn't it, to have, some of these fringe players get game time, prove to the manager that they can do it. Because Stoke are no mugs. I mean, they won their last game, I think, away or to Hull. Was it 2-1? So, okay, Stoke will make some changes, but it won't be an easy game for us. And I'd be interested to see how we go. So, yes, for me, Fish and Gutas for Saturday. And, if you keep with it.
Interesting. Yeah, I agree. I do think that Fish is near on dead cert to start. On Saturday, I'd be very, very surprised if he doesn't. Not to jump on the slagging Darland off bandwagon, but I've also seen a few comments that his physicality doesn't seem up to scratch. It's almost like he could do with, strengthening up and bulking up a bit, because he's quite easily can be pushed off the ball as well. What was I going to say? Welcome, Graham, mate. Sorry, I'm late. I have a note. No problem. In fairness, I know this is a tad earlier than what we normally are, so I will let you off, my friend. But thank you for joining us. Rhys Evans says, welcome, mate. Gentlemen's evening, Mother Evans is going. You can't wait to meet the lover of life, Glenn Loovens. I'm upset by that, Rhys, because I thought I was your mother's lover of her life. So very upset by that. Why have you gone sideways, Pan? Have we changed to a Pan view?
Yeah. And then when players, I know we all do as fans.
Who's that, Pan? It's just me or is Pan like he's lying down now? What's happened? While he's lying down, an interesting one here from Graham, and I'm not against it, to be honest. John Morrison, free agent, could get a grip of defence till the summer, maybe. Do you know what? He's gone for a clip for you, mate. I'm not against that, mate. I don't think that's a bad idea. Having Morrison in, I don't think he would command much of a wage. And I think, let's be real, Morrison's not got long left in his footballing professional career now. So, I think he'll be, for people like Fish and for Darland, it'd be useful to have someone with that maturity, that experience of the division around and training. I know obviously Percy's there with this coaching side of things and things like that. I'm not sure how much involvement he has because of the under-21 situation, whether he has anything to do with that anymore. I'm not entirely sure actually. But yeah, I wouldn't be against Morrison. So yeah, Rhys Evans says, I don't know if he is Martin, mate. Love Morrison, but let's be fair, he's not played now for about a year. He's had a serious injury setback. He's done coaching, get him around the first team coaching, I'd say. Yeah, at least. But Martin says he's already working at the club, isn't he? I'm not too sure, mate. I don't recall. Right, let's have a look at some comments why he's abandoned me, shall we? Laura says, evening all. Hello. Was it Rhys Evans' mum? Martin says, I think he's actually gone for a lie down Panthers now, guys and girls and the A&Ms. He's abandoned me. No problem. No pan, no problem. Martin says, I think you've taken into consideration that we're not strong defence at left back. That can cause left sides. Yeah. 100%. The thing is, the way that the modern day football is now, left backs are more left midfielders. And I think that the proof is in the pudding that we've got, and right backs as well. Sorry, right midfielders. I think that proof is in the pudding. The fact that we're playing Calmo Dowder at left back. And then obviously got Renomotor, probably a centre mid, but he's a midfielder playing right back. So I think it says it all, and we're not the only ones who's doing that. A lot of teams are more focused on playing from the back, etc. And people who play right back and left back start to play centre half now. I was watching the. I know it's obviously a Cardiff show, etc. But I was watching the West Ham game yesterday. I know they lost, but their defence, they had a left back playing left centre back and a right back playing right centre back in the back three, or back five, however you want to call it. So it's a sign of the times, I think, personally, that you can't just be a Gary Neville, as Carol Spitzty used to say. No one wants to be a Gary Neville growing up. I think that the full-back position has massively changed. Nice one, Rhys. Yeah, so he's coming in and working in the academy. So there we are then. So would that mean, when you say the academy, so what, like the youngers, Rhys, mate, or was it the 21s, or I'm not too sure. So Martin then follows up with, we need to get Mansfield match fit as soon as possible. Do you guys reckon you'll have some minutes on the weekend. I thought it was in the 18th, not a nice one. Yeah, so before I start wrapping up, Ben, my kids are starting to kick off now. What do we think then line up for the weekend? Do we think there'll be a full 11 changes, or do you think we'll be doing just maybe the odd 3 or 4 first teamers still in the squad? I personally think my team, I'll go with, I think there's a dead set Hovarth will be in goals. I'd like to see Conti play right back. I don't think he will, though. I think it'll probably be Perry and G. I think he'll be Fish and Dimmy centre back. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes Bacon left back. I will go. I'm not sure if he can play yet, but I think if he can, he will. And Mansverk will play centre mid alongside. I don't think he'll play Ralls. Yeah, I'll tell you what, you'll go Perry NG right back. Although, as I said, for him, do Conti. I won't be surprised if he puts Rinamota next to Mansverk, I think. Then I think you might go Ruben 10. Alves one wing, Ashford the other, and Sarge up front. What we got? Some cracking predictions already. So what we got? Martin's gone. Hovarth, Bacon, Dish, Fish, Darlin, Robinson, Mansverk, Caldwell, Ashford, Salak, New Boy, as in Alves, I'm guessing. You mean, mate? Yeah, not too dissimilar. So you've gone Robinson. I don't know if you'll do Robertson. I don't know. Jonathan says Hovarth, NG, Fish, Darlin, Bacon, Alzheimer, Manswick, Rouse, Cole, Mate, Salad. Mate. That's an interesting one there. So I thought, for all intents and purposes, that Mate was done. I thought that we wouldn't see him again in a Cardiff shirt. I don't like some of the abuse and criticism that he's come under personally. But I was surprised to still see him here. I thought, even if he was still alone or something, because isn't he one of the ones who's out of contract in the summer? Someone will correct me now, I expect, but I'm sure he was one of the ones who was out of contract in the summer. But no, he's here. So yeah, that's a good shout, John. Actually, mate, you may go down that route. So would you say then? So you go Alves one wing, Manzo, Riles, Caldwell. Yeah, contract him with summer. Cheers, buddy. Yeah, that's a good point as well, Martin. Robertson does need to play himself into a bit of form. I'm not sure if you were on right at the start. I think I touched upon it. I think that he just is, because he knew he was ill, wasn't he? A couple of weeks ago. I think that he's taken his toll on him, as does all of us when we pick up a virus and things like that. So I wonder if that's had an impact on his form, which it can definitely do. It can make you tired and wear you out and drain you. So I won't read too much into his form at the moment. I think that is the case. But yeah, you just need to get back up and running again. I think we're all in agreement, though, guys, that Ramsey doesn't start. He played half the game on the weekend against Everton for 21s. Did well. I think I got did he get an assist or two? Someone will correct me now, I expect. I'm sure he got a couple of assists as well. So maybe a little cheeky little cameo. Rhys says he'll play Riles, give him 60 minutes and bring Rambo on for 30. Ruben will start at 10. Interesting. That's a good point. Good shout. Yeah, agreed, Martin, mate. I thought he looked very good. I tell you who I really liked as well. Oh, and it was terrible, but I can't remember his name. He was the left winger for the 21s. Got interesting name. I can't remember for the life of me what it bloody is now off the top of my head. But he looked class. Looked very, very, very positive. Looked very energetic. And he proper had a good go at it. What was his name? Martin, you watched the 21s, mate, didn't you? I'm sure you watched the game the other day. What was his name? Someone tell me, because it's going to bug the hell out of me. But yeah, obviously, then you got Giles we were talking about as well. So I do wonder whether he'll have any impact on the game on Saturday, whether we'll see him on the bench, maybe. Tam was it? Oh, okay. Yeah, it must be him then. Because I thought he looked quality. And I say, yes, that's the one. I'm glad you put it there, and I'm not going to try and butcher it and offend someone by trying to pronounce it. But I really liked him. I thought he was really good. Spoken to a few of the guys in the chat. I think that's going to be my thing now. I'm going to watch the 21s a bit more like I used to. So I really enjoyed that on the weekend. Did he go to Newport after? Ooh, I got the transfer ins now on my screen now. I don't think he did, mate. No, not as far as I'm aware, unless something's happened since. I don't believe he has gone. Well, as we go. I don't think he got over the line in the end. Fair enough. Yeah, I will play up to boost my own ego. Fair play, Rob. Fantastic to see you back doing the pause. Not been the same about you, mate. No, thank you, mate. And I've gone from the name of frigging prize fighter I give myself by doing shows when I feel like doing them. That's not strictly true, by the way. To this is my fourth win in a row now. So on Saturday, we done a reaction to Rhys Evans. We may as well talk about it. We had a few Leeds fans who say in the chat, if you haven't seen it, have a look back. Some interesting comments. But I will say, though, thank you to them Leeds fans, because that's produced one of our highest reviewed shows to date. I think the last Rhys Evans checked it was it about 3,500 views Saturday had. So thanks, Leeds. And Sunday then I done the breakdown. I joined Angel for the breakdown because obviously Si is having his sex change, so he wasn't available. He's been AWOL for the last few days. Hope he's doing all right, of course. So yeah, we done that one. We had quite good feedback on that one as well. And then yesterday on Mondays, as you Patreon members are already aware of, is Patreon night. Those of you who are not Patreon already, as you can see, we touched upon it. I touched upon it right at the start, but there's a banner going across the top. There's a QR code across in the top corner as well. I won't point to it because it's always backwards on you. It's up there somewhere. For the price of a pint of Carl in a month, you can become an East Podcast Nation member, get early access to shows, like the Monday Patreon show where it's anything goes. Like, for example, last night, because it was deadline day, me and Ames did a special deadline day show, and I did join slightly later, but I went full Jim White, put a shirt on and my yellow tie as well. What's that? What? Not today. Sorry about that. The choice doing it early. So yeah, if you're already a Podcast Nation member and you haven't seen it yet, have a look at that. I went full shebang, shirt, done my hair and everything. So that was good fun, and obviously tonight. And just a reminder for those as well, coming up on membership on Thursday, there's a special watch along with Andy Campbell and Simon at 6:30, available to Patreon guest members only. So like I said, another reason to join, so you can get access to shows like that. Sai, I believe, is back tomorrow. I can't remember the name of his phone in the radio station he's on, but check out his socials, and you can be sure to have a look at that. I think that sums us up. I'll tell you, one thing would be lush for me, guys, if you could. I know you started doing them already, but if you could check your comments in the chat afterwards. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And yeah, if you can put your Cymru Sport, cheers, Rhys. If you can put your predictions in, and after we finish up, just helps me out, helps the channel out, and keep Big Boss Man happy, and he can feed me then as well. So so without further ado, Pan has definitely gone for a lie down. So thank you all so much for joining me. Really do massively appreciate it. I know it's a bit of a change to what I'd said was going to happen this evening, but it will happen. We will get it. But good night. God bless. Take care, and up a flower.
Swagger down the street.